And due to popular demand, needed to get a pod out, had a writer's strike. It was a tough scenario for everyone to go through, but we got it done and happy to bring back another season of the pod. Looking forward to it. Didn't get the chance to do a draft breakdown due to uh, getting pretty messed up in Boston with Josh and Ryan for Josh's bachelor party. And that's where I'm going to leave that information. DM me or private message if you want more details. But yeah, pod sponsored by Raid, as you can probably see in the background. So excited to get this going. Just gonna do a quick hitter, nothing crazy here. If anybody does want to be a co-host one week or jump in or anything like that, just let me know. Happy to organize that on a schedule and get some good content out to the people here. So yeah, I mean it was a good draft, a party. Thanks for everyone that came. I think it was a good draft overall. Feels like teams are pretty balanced, competitive. I think most everyone would say that the draft would be summed up by two words, and that would be Drake London. So that's really all that needs to be said about the draft. And you know the deal. We're gonna share the screen. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna look at the matchups, and we're gonna pick some winners. So I'm assuming everyone's rosters are assuming these lineups are going to be set since everyone's fresh and ready. So we got me versus George. George looking for a bounce back year, bounce back season. Was first place 2 years ago, last place last year. I think he's poised to be in position to put himself back into the playoff push for a championship run. So feel he looks pretty good. Saquon, Rachaad White. I mean, up and down this lineup, you got some studs. Is Kyle Pitts actually going to be good? Maybe. We'll find out. Some decent depth on the bench, but I mean, the starting lineup's really strong, going to put up a lot of points for sure. I like my team personally. I think I had an okay draft. I think this team is a playoff caliber team. I don't know how high we can go as far as winning it all, but I will say that I think I put a pretty good roster here together. Um, Definitely open to trading. So just let me know if anyone wants to trade for any of my players or vice versa. I could definitely use some upgrades. With that being said, just looking into this matchup, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, man. Derrick Henry's going to score a bunch of touchdowns tonight. Give me a huge lead going into this game. My team's just going to come out here and dominate. It's going to be a rout. Checking that ass is going to get that first win of the season. Sorry about it, George. Your comeback fairy tale season can start next week. So looking ahead here, got Nate versus Bucher. Team Nate, I would say the auto draft fairy did not do him much favors. Of course, this shit's still having issues from like it did a year ago. So pardon the technical difficulty. Let's see here. Here we go. Alrighty. So Team Nate, Team Bucher. Again, questionable picks from the auto pick for Team Nate. Kept Jonathan Taylor, good keeper, like that. The rest of the lineup, I mean, we'll see if Anthony Richardson can stay on the field for more than 4 games. And AJ Brown's really good, and Mike's boy, Mike Evans. We know how that goes. Just I think I see a lot up and down on this roster. Needless to say, what we're pretty much used to seeing from Team Nate year in, year out at this point. So leave it at that. And Team Bucher, really strong draft team. Two-headed monster at the running back position. Love Marvin Harrison. I know he's a rookie. We don't know, but I think he's going to have a huge year. He's awesome. This is going to be a really good team. I am concerned about George Kittle. I just personally am not a fan of him as a fantasy tight end. But still really strong roster. And I think this projection is being a little kind. I think Bucher wins this one by 20 points or more. I don't really see a way that Nate can really keep this one close. Just looking at some of these matchups and just the names that are on these rosters, I think it's kind of night and day with what we got going on here. So we're going to go back here so I can avoid that. Yeah, let me move the notes. All right, cool. So we have Ryan versus Josh here, the bachelor party boys. So I like Ryan's new team name. A little sexualized, but I guess it'll work. Depends upon your persuasion. And Josh rocking and rolling with the Rock Boys. Year 3, nothing wrong with that. So looking at these teams, a lot of boomer busts for Ryan. I mean, I like this roster a lot. I think there's a lot of upside here. Swift, we'll see what that Chicago offense is looking like. They have some really capable running backs in that backfield, and some pretty good depth on the team too. So we'll see. I think this could be a bounce back year for Ryan for sure. Definitely in the playoff mix. I do just kind of looking at some of these. Obviously, Jefferson against the Giants. That 15.4 projection feels a little generous. Dude could definitely go for close to 30, even with, I guess, Sam Darnold throwing to him. So, and then just looking over at the Rock Boys here, got Dak against Cleveland defense, going to be a little bit of a rough go. I see that as a little more of a low scoring game, so I don't know if Dak blows up. Just going down the list here, really, really scarce in the running back room. I mean, James Conner and Jerome Ford might not be starting football games in a month and a half. So we'll have to see. Great 1-2 tandem at receiver that's going to make up for that running back room, though. And Mark Andrews poised for a really good season. So all in all, I think Josh is a really strong team. I think most teams in this league, you would make an argument for the most part that they're in playoff contention. It should be a pretty tight race down the stretch. But just looking at this matchup here, Josh's running backs concern me a lot. So for that reason, is that what I actually did? I did. That's what I wrote down. Ryan's going to get the dub here, start the season on the hot streak. We'll see what Stefon Diggs looks like in Houston. I just have a lot of question marks with Josh's roster right now. I do think Lamb, if he does play, which he might not, and Olave have really nice seasons. And I think obviously that Dak CD combo is going to be awesome to have throughout the year. But just this week, looking at it now, I have no idea what these running back rooms are going to look like, and I think that's a huge advantage for Ryan in this situation. So, moving on to a championship rematch that I know we're all looking forward to. Mind Goblin and the Milkman. Again, new team name, love it. A lot of sexual innuendos that could be built off upon that. So, I mean, kept Christian McCaffrey for Wazinski. Really, really solid roster here. I do have concerns about Pittman because he was so good last year with Minshew. We'll see how Richardson does with him. Love the running back room. At least this week, Aaron Jones against the Giants. I think anybody who plays the Giants is going to be a win. We'll see what Rodgers looks like if we can play more than 4 snaps. Kincaid, Debo, Brian Robinson, really strong roster here. A lot of fun youth on the bench too, especially Taysom Hill. That dude is just an electric factory back there at the tight end position. And I think this is a really well-built roster that's going to make some noise all year. Look at the Milkman, again, kind of same thing as Wazinski, kept Tyreek Hill, championship winner, obviously coming off having the belt. And I'm sure it's tucked away nicely in a storage closet somewhere in his house. Hopefully not covered in cat piss, but we can only hope. So I really think this is a pretty solid squad too. I have concerns about the tight end, Ferguson up and down, certainly there. And then Najee, this is what, year 4, year 5 of Najee, and it's just kind of been, this dude's ready to burst out, and it just has not happened yet. So we'll see. New offense had a lot of success. Arthur Smith did in Tennessee with Henry. We'll see how he does with the 2 backs there. Obviously, Bijan was not the superstar number 1 that could have been with Arthur Smith, but nonetheless, new opportunity here with these backs. So I like this receiver room a ton. I just think there's some depth issues here that might come up to beat him. I do think Chase Brown could certainly assert himself into the starting lineup here in a month or so. I think he's going to end up being the RB1 in Cincinnati. Just my personal feelings. But looking at these two, I like the faith that I have in Mind Goblin, D's Nuts running back room. And I think there's going to be enough to compensate for Tyreek Hill in the receiver room. So with that being said, Matty Dub gets the win, puts himself in prime pole position to implode some milk and get off to a nice 1-0 start here. So moving on here, to our league newcomer, Justin versus Mike. So this is going to be exciting. Justin, this is probably your first podcast if you actually end up watching it. I try to do this every week. We usually have some co-hosts on, have a good time. Just break down things from the last week and moving forward, and maybe do some managerial segments, things of that nature. So year one for the Pizzles, looking for a fresh start based off the prior regime. I do have a direct quote from Puka Nakua. It's a JP has the boys jumping. We love his old school approach to the league and really have us ready and up to go for week one. And already gave us a week one magazine provided for the team's best strategies moving forward. So, gotta love that old school approach. Written formats, written down in paper front and back. Not quite sure what you would call that paper type, but it just got a good feel to it. So I think this team has a good feel to it too. And then just looking at Mike's team real quick here. Pretty disappointing finish in the playoffs last year. Mike had a really good regular season. Got Bijan at the trade deadline, used them as a keeper. I think that was a really heady move. Really good spot on his part. These receivers we'll see. Metcalf we know can be up and down, and we'll see what Nico Collins does now with another mouth to feed and Stephon Diggs in that receiver room. Clearly, he proved he's a good player, and I think that's definitely gonna. I think he'll be a good, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see what ends up that looking like there. Just kind of breaking this down a little bit. A lot of check marks on the left hand side, as we'll see here. I'm really high on a lot of the guys on Pizzle's roster here. And for that reason, sorry to say, Mike, but I do think that Justin gets his first win as a new manager in this league, and a lot of promise on the Mike side of things. A lot of quality players on this team. I just think that the depth is a little bit stronger, and there's more consistency in a lot of these rooms comparatively. And I think Laporta and Freiermuth is going to be a pretty big difference maker, week in, week out. So, I've given Justin the win there. So final one here, the two love children back at it again, Tyler and Ed. Tyler coming back. Look at this beautiful, powerful running back room here, man. I mean, it's going to be really exciting to see these three-headed monsters. We'll see what Detroit looks like, how Gibbs and how David Montgomery are going to battle each other. We'll get a good evidence of that this week, I believe. And Tyler, really solid squad. Drake London in the starting spot. Some managers may question that decision. That's personal choice. You get to set your own lineups, but really solid squad up and down here, and good depth too. I think Tyler's team's in a really good position to, have a good year and make a good run at it. Looking at Ed doing what Ed does, takes a lot of young guys. Shoot your shot. Got Jaden Daniels starting week one. Running backs are going to be top level. Again, kind of same thing as Montgomery. Receiver room, should be solid. I think McLaurin could have a good year, and that Jaden Daniels combo could be nice. Bowers, we'll see, and Achane should be a really nice player this year. A lot of good youth on the bench too. Khalil Shakir and Lad McConkey could really be guys that explode second half of the year. And same with Jalen Wright too. Definitely could be a guy that could be the next Achane in that offense. So based off this though, just kind of looking at it, I wrote down that Tyler was going to win this game, but I'm looking at it, and I do think that Tyler is going to win this game. And Njoku's going to have a nice week. I think this guy London's going to be pretty good. And Ayuk's back, ready to rock and roll on Monday night prime time. I just think there's a little too much proven talent on the left side of the screen comparatively to the right side of the screen in some key spots. So I think for that reason, I'm going to give Tyler the nod here. So in summation, Tyler, Justin, Wazinski, forgot. I gave Ryan the win here. I gave Bucher the win here, and I gave myself the win here. I expect to go 5-1 this week. You could probably make an inference of which one I think I might have gotten wrong. So stop sharing that. Yeah, sorry for the bad hair day, by the way. Not really, but anyway. Moving on to, everyone enjoy some football. Hopefully the Ravens show up for us Ravens fans. And hopefully everyone enjoys their first football weekend of the next 5 months of the year. So with that being said, see you next week. Maybe I'll get somebody on here who wants to talk some shop and you don't have to hear me ramble. Peace.